Welcome to Hekman Library's Research Foundations, getting you started doing college-level research like a wise scholar. Today we're talking about citing your sources. Citation is the practice of citing your sources in your research paper or acknowledging and documenting carefully where the information you're using comes from. When we cite our sources, we let our readers know that we are building off the research and thoughts of others, avoiding taking undue credit for ourselves. So this is also a practice in integrity, as we seek to honestly communicate our learning path. To use other scholars' ideas or work without citation, which suggests you're claiming them as your own, is called plagiarism, which is a serious charge whether you're a student or a professional. So let's make sure you're prepared to cite your sources properly in your next research paper, first by answering the question, what exactly am I supposed to cite? The most basic rule of citation is to cite anything that originates from outside of you, in other words, from the work of other scholars, which is not already common knowledge. What counts as common knowledge can be tricky to determine exactly, but think of it as non-specific, non-disputable facts that most people know or could quickly look up, like pollution is bad for the environment, or George Washington was the first president of the US. Let's also be clear about what counts as your original work versus others. Just ask yourself, is this my original idea or work, or just my words for someone else's ideas? Of course, when you're quoting a source's exact phrases, it's obvious that you need to explain who said or wrote that. But even when you're using your own words to paraphrase or summarize the original, your readers need to know that the info you're sharing comes from someone else's work. So yes, you do need to cite your source in all of these situations. The next question to answer is, how do I cite my sources then? Proper citation in your research paper consists of two parts. Your in-text citation, that abbreviated note you make in the body of your paper about what source you're using right there, and your bibliography or works cited page at the end of your paper, where you list all the sources you've used with full author and publisher details, so your readers will have everything they need to find those sources if they want to read more later. That's pretty straightforward, but it gets a little more complicated because there are many citation styles that are used by scholars in different disciplines. Your professor will usually assign a citation style for your research writing assignments, such as MLA, APA, Chicago style, and more. These styles give guidelines on what in-text and bibliographic citations should look like, with very particular formatting depending on what type of source you are citing. Fortunately, citation style manuals are available for you to look up the exact rules. You don't have to have it all memorized. You can also use the cite function in our library search, and there are also many other quick guides you can look up online. Now, when it comes to crafting citations, we have to ask, what about using AI to generate citations? Plenty of generative AI models can not only create citations from your information, they claim to find sources for you and deliver citations, or compose anything from an initial outline to a full draft with just one prompt. However, these models can also suffer from hallucinations, which is a programming complication that often leads the AI to make up information and present it to you as fact in an effort to meet your needs. This is obviously a problem because you can't always be sure then if the citations you've gleaned from AI are actually real sources, or if they are a convenient mix of pieces from different real sources combined to make the perfect, but non-existent source for you. The only way to know for sure is to check thoroughly, which takes a lot of time. Frankly, it's not only more efficient to find sources and write about them yourself, but it's also a choice you can make to safeguard your academic integrity. Remember, the point of citing sources is to be honest with our readers and honor our fellow scholars. And if we neglect to produce accurate citations of real sources in our research, we damage our own credibility. However, when we take care with our citations, we build trust, and our own work is strengthened by the clear evidence we present. So citation isn't just about arbitrary rules. It's actually very important to the research process for any wise scholar. It does come with a complex system of styles and formats, though. So for one final question, where can you get good help with citation? Here at Kelvin, you have two groups of people to consult with, the Hekman Research Team and the Rhetoric Center consultants. Our librarians can meet with you personally to go over all your research needs and questions, from developing that research thesis to finding and evaluating sources, yes, including citing those sources. The Rhetoric Center offers assistance in all things writing, so for peer help on your next paper or speech, you can stop by the center on the 3rd floor of the library to find someone to work with. And with that, you should have everything you need to cite those sources in your next research paper. For more introductory research concepts and how-tos, wise scholar reflections, and more, check out our other Research Foundations videos in the Hekman Library channel.